I got rejected at the gym yesterday, and I actually forgot how much I enjoyed cold approach because that was the first time I've done it in about 4 or 5 years. And today I want to talk to you about why rejection is so important for a man. For a long time in my life, I shunned away from rejection, specifically with women. I've mentioned this in several videos, but I had pretty bad social anxiety. I felt like I had to Well, I didn't feel like, yeah, I drank around women during my 20s when I went out just because I was so nervous. Felt like I had to be drunk to have sex. I mean, it was not enjoyable. I remember I read The Game by Neil Strauss, I think when I was like 21, 22. And, I thought about cold approaching for so long, but I didn't do it. And I would just read about it. And then finally, when I was in graduate school, I think I was maybe like, I don't know, 34 or something, I started doing cold approach, and I did exposure therapy on myself, and I did like over 100 approaches, and it completely just changed my life and gave me a sense of confidence I never thought was even possible. And again, approaching women is not about getting the girl or anything like that. It's about you authentically putting yourself out there and going for what you want because life is short. And I often joked with myself, like, I'm not doing this for me. I'm doing this for me when I'm 80, crapping my pants in an adult diaper. I don't want to look back and wonder, like, what if I just talked to that girl? That's what it's really about. It's minimizing regret. And that's what I've learned when I did that. That's one of the biggest takeaway. Like, rejection weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. I think I read that somewhere. Maybe they were talking about different words somewhere else, but I love that. Rejection is always better than regret. And yesterday was no different. So I had seen this girl in the gym before a couple weeks ago, and like, she was gorgeous. Definitely my type. Like thick, big booty, which is especially rare out here in Thailand. And I thought about I thought about it the first time. I didn't do it, and then I was just like replaying in my head, oh, I shouldn't have done it. I should have done it. And yesterday I saw her. They say that 3-second rule. You should approach in 3 seconds because if not, you're gonna like think about it too much. And it's true. I was like thinking about it. I was just like, and I saw her walk over to the machine, and I was just like, screw it. And so I went over there. Uh, Gave the false time constraint, said I had to go real quick, asked her if she spoke English, and I just started talking to her. Said she was cute. I speak a little Thai, which helps, and so she was asking me how I knew Thai. We were talking for a bit. She was actually very inquisitive about me, which, granted, it's a sample size of one, but I would say that happens maybe a little less so in America, because in America, they're more like, at least in my experience, I never had a terrible interaction during my cold approaches in America, but initially they're just kind of surprised you're talking to them, I would say. And they're like, why is this guy here? Some of the times. I mean, often, I would say. But she was like very inquisitive, like asking me a lot of questions. Long story short, I ended up asking her, in Thai if she had a boyfriend. She said she was dating someone, and I told her I understand. She's very beautiful, and said it was nice to meet you, and then I kind of went back to my workout. But it was a great interaction. And man, I don't know, I felt recharged by it. There's just something about being around a beautiful woman that I find refreshing. It's nature's trick to get us, to reproduce. But nonetheless, like, it was a beautiful interaction. And, I got rejected, so to speak, but that didn't matter. I went for what I wanted, was to meet this beautiful woman. And now I don't have to wonder. I felt great that I just like, I did. I mean, that was my first cold approach in like 4 or 5 years. But the real relief is now I don't have to wonder what if. So many times in my life, I have to wonder what if, because I didn't go for what I wanted. I let fear win. And that's something, to really take inventory of. How often are you letting fear win? And for me, every time I let fear win, I'm doing my 80-year-old self who's pooping his pants a disservice. Because now he has to wonder. And I don't want that for him. He's gonna have plenty of problems on his own. With the adult diaper and all that good stuff. I don't need any regrets. Or I need as little regrets as possible. I mean, I'm sure some regret is inevitable. But how many times do we not go strike up that conversation? Maybe we don't apply for that job. Maybe we don't try to start that business. Maybe we don't move somewhere. Right? And all these things add up to your 80-year-old self. I wonder what maybe I could have done it. Maybe it could have worked out. Oh, I don't want that. I really don't. And it's also just a great illustration yesterday, how the mind can add all this pressure to a situation that's not even real. Especially in the stakes of going to talk to a beautiful woman you're attracted to, your mind builds it up like it really matters if they say no. Like in America, like I never got yelled at. Like no one threw tomatoes at me. Going up to a girl and say, "Hey, I thought you were gorgeous. I wanted to meet you." I mean, you'll be fine. So it was a great reminder. And I might be butchering this name, but Jia Jiang talks about this. I think the book is called Rejection Proof. And that was the book I read right before I started doing Cold Approach. That book is so amazing. Highly recommend reading. I'm not affiliated at all. I don't have a promo code or whatever, but amazing book. To summarize, it was this shy, introverted, I think it was Chinese, but don't quote me on that. Shy, introverted man of Asian descent decides he's gonna go seek out all these exercises to get rejected in. I think on one, and he would knock on someone's door and ask to plant flowers in their yard or go kick a soccer ball in the back. I actually got some of he's got a list of exercises on his website, and I actually got one of them I was using on myself when I did exposure. And I would go up to people and I would say, "Hey, can you take a picture of me?" And they're like, "Sure." And I'd be like, "No, on your phone." I remember I have this picture where I'm just flexing in the middle of the street. This person's taking a picture of it. It was just, oh my gosh, it was funny. And other exercises trying to borrow money. That one was the worst I've done. Just, I think the most cringe, asking people to borrow $1, $5, $20, whatever. Yeah, that was painful, but you get through it. Anyways, he's got all these exercises. He goes on a series of rejections, and he really found freedom through rejection. And that's what it is. I think rejection is the path to become more psychologically free, because it kind of kills your ego. Right? It operates on the principles of progressive desensitization, meaning as you expose yourself to this feared stimuli, in this case rejection, your brain realizes you're not going to die, and it's actually okay, and you desensitize to it, and it doesn't elicit a fear response. That's kind of the psychology angle of it. But you realize you're fine. It's okay if someone says no. You're not going to die. And I think on some level, that's what the fear of rejection is. You feel maybe you get, caveman days, you get rejected, you get ostracized from the tribe, and then you starve or something like that. That's one evolutionary theory about it. But rejection is so beautiful. Truly. It is one of the most profound things you can do in your life, and I highly recommend it. Whether that's talking to someone, whether that's failing in a business, or maybe that's moving to a foreign country you've never been to before. Well, go do something a little scary. I mean, really, that's the paradox of growth, right? I mean, anything you're scared of, that's what you should probably do, because you're going to get the most growth out of it. It's also, I mean, even in the context of cold approach, talking to women you're attracted to, it's a much better use of your time than dating apps. An hour spent cold approach, you're going to feel, or at least I feel recharged and energized. You get all these unique experiences, and you meet people, and you have that, I don't know, you have an interaction that's pleasant or enjoyable. Versus the dating apps, you spend an hour, it's just robotically texting and things like that, and it's just numbers on or pixels on a screen. And I'm guilty of it. You know, dating apps, they're convenient, if not addictive, and you know, you can access them anywhere. But yeah, the quality of interactions, and like people just edit the heck out of their photos. I've talked about this, especially out here. I mean, it's like wild. It's not even subtle, the amount of filters and things like that. So at least like when you do cold approach too, you know what you're getting into. But nonetheless, so I just wanted to share that experience. It was a great reminder for me. And you know, again, I'm grateful for it because, you know, my 80-year-old self doesn't have to worry. So get out there, go talk to someone, go do something you might fail at, and you're gonna realize it's okay.